and welcome to this week's transport vlog. Now, on the agenda this week is money, 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 because the European Commission has announced a new draft budget proposal and a recovery fund. 1.8 trillion euros, something like that. So, three takeaways from that big announcement. The first thing, the 750 billion euro recovery instrument, 500 billion in grants, 250 billion in loans. How did transport fare in all this? Well, beforehand, we thought that there might be something like specific in there for transport, like a few billion for clean transport, a few billion for car scrappage schemes. Even there were suggestions of a fund for night trains, the Franz Europe Express, as Luke James coined it. Thanks for that. But there wasn't any of that. It was more, we've identified the expenditure gaps that will be coming because of the coronavirus. This is the amount of money that we think should be allocated for it. And as Thierry Breton said in an interview with my colleague Jorge Valero, it'll be up to member states to apply for that money. He was citing the case of tourism, where they'll have to do some sort of strategy saying we want X billion euros to recover for this, our sector needs it. So it's quite of a shrewd kind of plan by the Commission where they've identified the needs, they've said how much money each member state will be entitled to, Italy, Spain, Greece, whoever is entitled to more. So it'll be up to those governments to say, well, we want to spend it on aeronautics, we want to spend it on tourism, we want to spend it on electric car infrastructure charging, something like that. Which brings me on to my second point, the EU budget. Slightly larger than the last one, the last proposal that is. And in terms of transport, the Connecting Europe facility is going to get something like 1.5 billion extra under the current draft. Of course, everyone has to agree to this. This is all very much thinking about what could be. You never know. It's all going to be changed at some point. And the CEF is going to get a little bit more money. Those are things like electric car transport, ports, motorways, you name it, and something like 5G infrastructure where high-speed trains, connected cars all benefit from an advanced rollout, more spending on broadband services and things like that. So that's where the budget is kind of coming into its own in terms of connecting Europe up a little bit more in terms of transport. But it does have bad news for our third point, space. Under the original proposal, 16 billion was going to go into the space sector. Under the last one, it's a little bit less of 3 billion less in the kitty for space sector transport. That's a bit of a shame because the European Commission, when it came into, the new European Commission, when it came into power, we thought that it was going to really put a priority on space. Copernicus, Earth observation satellites, Galileo, global positioning, more money for the European Space Agency maybe. It even created its own department, a new offshoot, Defence and Space, DG. But it's suffered because money has to be shifted around. So yeah, bad news for space wonks. In a period of time where, you know, SpaceX is putting people into orbit, first private company to do that. The European Space Agency has big plans as well, but it does rely on the Russians to get their astronauts into space. There's a new rocket jet coming, Ariane 6, but that's been delayed because of the coronavirus. The European Space Agency's member states, I mean, it's not a EU agency, remember, granted the ESA more money last year, a bigger budget than they even asked for. And in the European Commission's budget, they're getting less money. So that's a bit of a mixed signal, really. I mean, does Europe want to keep track with the US, China, India, Japan when it comes to space, or is it just a development tool for research and innovation that they are willing to put some money into and then skim off the profits and the know-how and everything when it comes to Galileo and Copernicus, for example, which are, by any standard, the market leaders in their respective fields. But we'll see. I mean, maybe the SpaceX launch will change Commission minds. Maybe when the proposal is inevitably carved up by member states and the Commission is asked to maybe do a little bit more fine tweaking, the money will go back into space. We don't know. I mean, it's like looking at the early concept drawings for cars. You know, you get this space age looking, advanced looking automobile, and then the thing that rolls off the production line at the end of the day is a little bit more clunky and utilitarian looking. So maybe the 16 billion will come back onto the table. We'll wait and see. And I'd just like to give a big thank you to everyone who has already contributed to our crowdfunding scheme. As we've said before, the media sector is definitely not exempt from the worst impacts of the coronavirus outbreak. And for all of you that have already kicked in, even a few centimes, it all makes a difference. Even if it's just to sort of tell us that we are doing something that you find useful, maybe amusing, entertaining to your everyday work. There'll be a link in the description of the video if you want to contribute to that as well. Every little bit helps, and we are really appreciated for that. And that's it for now. There'll also be a link in the video description for the interview with Thierry Breton that Jorge did. And yeah, keep up to date with the site. There'll be all of the EU budget ramifications coming. The Frugal Four have already made it clear what they think of the budget draft. And that's it for now. Thanks for subscribing. Keep watching. Stay safe. Ciao.